MSL intro with didgeridoo. MSL. Okay, here we go. Bisu versus Flash on Dante's Peak. Which reminds me of Pierce Brosnan, so I'm probably going to giggle a lot during this commentary. But this is the final match. Except, down at the 5 o'clock position, wait, 8 o'clock position, I'm watching from a mirror. In purple is Flash. Up at the 2 o'clock position, there you go. In orange is Bisu, who is facing to the right. Alright, here we go. This is the final match, a rematch from earlier, although on a different map. But it's Flash versus Bisu again for the final game. Seems that it always comes down to Flash versus Bisu on my channel recently. This actually falls in line with the bunch of games that I did where it was basically just Stork, Flash, Jaedong, and Bisu. This kind of carries on that tradition of only lazily doing the best players games. But whatever. Still fantastic. How can you complain about a group like this? Even though your favorite player will most likely be eliminated, whatever. Yes, if you like Flash, Flash is going to be eliminated. If you like Bisu, Bisu is going to be eliminated. Just accept it, man. That is how life works. But the supply depot on the way for Flash, gateway for Bisu. No one is rushing today. This is a big old map. It would have been hard to rush anyway. As Flash, I guess Flash might have learned his lesson from trying to rush earlier. Bisu is on top of his scouting, Flash. You might not want to try something like that again. Oh man. So Jaedong has already won his spot in the round of 16. This will decide a spot for either Bisu or Flash. So if Bisu wins this, we're going to see a chance at Bisu getting up to another MSL final, of course. And if Flash wins it, we might get another Jaedong versus Flash final. Both of those are possibilities this time around, I believe, from the way the groups work out. Of course, I don't know that much. I don't follow the MSL structure as closely as I should, as closely as I do the OSL structure, definitely. That's the big thing I like about casting an individual league in a row, a bunch of them in a row, because I can bring over the expertise from the previous season. I think I've talked about this before. But now that the OSL is changing their structure and how they do everything, I have a feeling I'm going to be pretty much lost by the time the next OSL comes around. I'll be like, what is this format? What's happening? I have no idea what's going on. All new maps? Who are these new players? God. But Bisu trying to sneak inside the main, he's going to lose that probe. There's no way that probe's getting out of here alive. Look at that Marine, out for blood. Yeah, eat that. Particle beams my ass. But the Zealots working their way, well, one Zealot working its way down to the natural expansion, because Bisu, I think you remember what he was able to do with Zealots against Flash in the last game they had. Oh boy, that was in the Winners League Finals as well. Flash got shut the hell down. It was brutal. But I think Flash is in a better position here. He already has his 3 Marines out before the first Zealot is out. This is a different situation, obviously, because Bisu did not build a forward gateway this time for super aggressive Zealot play. Yeah, I think Bisu worked on that strategy a long time, trying to lock down Flash's options and say, okay, how does Flash normally play? He normally plays very greedily, trying to get a base this early as he normally does. So I need to be prepared for that. But alright, let's check this out. I thought I heard I had to look over to the window for a second because I thought I heard another wasp over there, but I don't think it was. I've had 4 wasps get into my apartment over the past week, and I've been battling them, mercilessly battling them. But I think the wave of wasps is finally over, because I haven't had one in a couple of days. I've had a bee attack me during a commentary before, but I forget exactly what commentary that was. I've had a cricket attack me too. Forces of nature. It makes me remember the Klazark game where he had a bunch of birds outside of his window that he couldn't shut up to. Hilarious. But Bisu, let's see what Bisu is up to. He already has his Nexus coming up, obviously. It's going to be a little bit behind Flash in economy this time around. But Flash was behind a little bit in the first game between the two and managed to worm his way back by building just tons of bases all over the place that Bisu just couldn't handle. Okay, Flash going to pull a couple SCVs off the line to protect his front because Bisu's going to come down here probably with eventually 4 or 5 Dragoons to apply pressure at that bunker and holding his own choke to keep Flash from scouting as well. I guess he might have seen that SCV going out earlier. He's trying to deny the scout there. Might be going for something a little bit tricky. Not exactly sure. Oh, Bisu kills the scout, so the SCV does not get in long enough to see any buildings coming up for Bisu. But 2 factories on the way for Flash. Pretty standard play from him so far. And now that he has his 2 bases, he's going to try to get lucky there. Oh, sniping of an SCV. Nice play there from Bisu. He doesn't take anything except for shield damage, I don't think, either. But he snuck in with a Zealot as well. He already got snuck in with a Zealot. He's going to go straight into the main with that, make it a little bit more difficult for Flash. But Flash should be okay. He's going to have his tank out soon, and he's already pumping a Vulture from that other factory. So Bisu is in here. He's not going to be able to get much done. He might be able to snipe an SCV, but I don't think so. The Vulture's in, and the Vultures do a lot of damage to the Zealots, and the Zealot goes down pretty quickly. But Bisu is taking his 3rd base, I see, already getting up that 3rd Nexus to compete economically with Flash, and he has those 4 Dragoons at the front. He doesn't want to take a single shot on those Dragoons either, since he took so much Marine damage. There were 4 Marines in that bunker, so he took a lot of damage when he went in to snipe the SCV, but it was mostly shield damage. But he doesn't want to take any actual damage on those Dragoons, any more than he has to anyway. Alright, let's take a look at Bisu's base. He already has up his observatory. I'll have those observers out soon to get the scout on Flash's base and see what Flash is going for. Alright, Flash getting out even more Vultures and a couple of tanks. So he might go in for some Vulture harass soon. Since Bisu is kind of similar to the last game, Bisu does have another base kind of out there in no man's land, which is a little bit easier to get the Vulture harass on than the natural expansion of the main would be, just because it's so far out there. Difficult to even put some pylon walls around your base that far out. Alright, let's take a look. I saw that the machine shop was still spinning, so I think that will be Vulture speed from Flash. He probably has a Vulture mine upgrade already, is what I would guess. Even though he was working on that siege range, he has the speed on those Vultures all ready to go. He's sniping a lot of probes at that natural expansion, but the observer's kind of looking around there. No, that wasn't the natural expansion, actually. That was the 3rd base. A lot of probes being taken down at that location. As I said, it's going to be difficult to defend against that kind of harassment play on this particular map. There's no choke area to that base, obviously, and now Flash is going to try to float over his own 3rd base to the inside. I think he's going for the inside anyway. Could go for the 9 o'clock, but I'd say he's closer to the inside base. Probably going to go for that. Yeah, he's going to float that over to the inside. There's a gas there anyway, so he's going to be okay. Dante's Peak. Pierce Brosnan. But more probes going down. A lot of probes being sniped at this location. Another one goes down, so Bisu just can't keep that base saturated, it seems. I know he transferred some probes earlier. That's how he got the probes there in the first place, but he's lost a lot already because he only has a handful of them still mining. But Flash is moving out, building some turrets, and he's going to slowly snake his way up to the natural expansion. Since he's building the turrets, that's going to keep any Zealot bombs from happening, keep the observers away from the front. And he's going to transfer all of his SCVs to his brand new base at the inside at 8 o'clock. And coming out with a couple more Vultures. Oh man, this is going to be so annoying. Hopefully Bisu has some cannons coming up now at that inside 10 o'clock base. But he might not have the cannons yet. You'd think after the first couple of attacks he would have put them down, though. We'll find out soon. Nope, no cannons, but he is hovering around with all of his Dragoons at this location. And he has a couple of pylons there just to make it more difficult for Flash to run by this time. So if Flash wants to run by, he's going to have to be to the left side of that base where the Dragoons could easily snipe them. Stargate for Bisu, and he has the Templar Archives, which means this time he's going to be going for Arbiters against Flash instead of Carriers. Luckily for him, he's not going for Carriers this time around. But Flash is building a lot of factories, getting that going. Since he does have his 3rd base going with gas, he'll be able to support them pretty easily, I think. Alright, let's see if Bisu does put down the Arbiter Tribunal, or if he is insane and puts down the Fleet Beacon. I don't think he's going to go for carriers again versus Flash. That's just too difficult. I don't think this map will be conducive for it anyway. Not nearly enough ridges to hide those carriers. Of course, this is a map I don't have a lot of experience with either, but I did get a good look at it before I started commentating, so I don't think this is a carrier map at all. Much more of an arbiter map from the looks of things, but Flash is going for yet another attack, trying to come up here, and well, he'll be able to take out one pylon. That's pretty much the extent of the damage he's going to be able to do. And Bisu does have a nice little pylon wall there to protect his probes finally at that inside 10 o'clock base. I'm getting a full pylon wall, actually. Full pylon wall. So if Flash wants to take out any more probes at that inside 10 o'clock base, he's going to have to drop or something, or get behind the pylon wall somehow. But he lost all of his vultures that were out there running around. He has a couple more groups of them being sent out to get the harassment, but if he wants to get any more vulture harassment, I think he's going to have to do drops to get that done. More factories. It's going to be a pretty big push now from Flash. He's building factories all over the place. Bisu working on more upgrades. There is his Arbiter Tribunal. So he is going for Arbiters this time instead of carriers. So this is going to be a fun game. Flash already has a pretty massive tank line out. As the embarrassed Korean girls looking on, hard to tell who they're rooting for there. I think she had like a Flash tattoo across her wrist or something. It says flat. The knuckles, it says the FLAS. Then on the other side, there's just an H. Have to put some kind of filler at the end of that. Flash, wow, or something like that. But Bisu trying to go out there. He's got to be careful. Got to be careful. Yeah, one of those mines dragged into the Dragoons. But look at this massive tank count now from Flash. Bisu will not be able to get anything done if he attacks right now. Even with a bunch of speedlots at the front, he's not going to be able to do this. So he's got to play defensively at this stage. Flash just built so many factories, and he's supporting them pretty easily from these three gas. Bisu is going to be in trouble if he attacks, so he cannot attack right now. He's got to bide his time, wait for the right opportunity to attack. I mean, even with stasis, this is going to be impossible to break. Really, he's going to have to go straight for a recall here. Flash is upgrading from 2 armories now as he's inching forward a little bit closer to the middle with a hell of a lot of vultures still out there looking for probes to snipe. Finds the probes that are transferring over to the brand new base from Bisu. Now a bunch of probes go down yet again. Flash sniping those and then getting out of there, saving most of those vultures that came in. A pretty large amount of vultures too that he saved. But Bisu looks like he was trying to go over there to build another base, but Flash was on top of it already. Has one little vulture over there to snipe the probes that try to transition over. I'll try to go over there and put another base down at the 2 o'clock position, so he was prepared. Very smart. But now Flash is going to have to think about his future and think about expanding again soon, although I think he's going to focus mostly on the 3 bases for now. Putting down that many factories means he's going to have a massive army out soon. So probably when he goes for the big attack is when you're going to see Flash go for his 4th base. But Bisu does have quite a few Dragoons going down, and he has a huge stream of speedlots getting ready to do a big attack here, but I don't think this attack would be successful if he does go for it. It's going to be tough, but either way, Bisu's going to wait for the Arbiter before he does anything. And Flash getting ready for a recall. He's saying, well, I have such a massive tank line. A stasis attack of the front is probably not going to get it done. So he might go for a recall instead. Maybe focus on that recall upgrade before anything else. Or to say, I'd say is entirely possible. But now Bisu is getting in here with all of his troops, so he might have actually gone for stasis first to go for those troops at that exposed outside 8 o'clock base. But now Bisu luckily has a couple of the cannons in, but the cannons are not close enough to the probe line. All the probes going down up at that 12 o'clock position. But Bisu, it seems, is expanding all over the place now. He's going for the natural expansion over at the 2 o'clock. He lost a lot of probes in this game. You can kind of see that on his face, saying, wow, I lost a lot of probes. But he'll be able to resaturate that soon. But man, this is going to be a scary push from Flash. This is the big push I was talking about before he takes his 4th base. And he's moving out. Flash is moving out, and he's going to be extremely difficult to stop. Bisu is going to have to take small engagements, pick off what he can, and then retreat, and wait until he has reinforcements to fight back Flash. Either way, this is going to be insane, because Flash is working his way up. Bisu getting into position to pick off what he can before running away and retreating. But getting in there with some zealots, but Bisu cannot handle this. He cannot push this. He has to retreat. There's no way he's going to be able to deal with this tank line, but he's taken down quite a few tanks at the back. But I think he's underestimated the amount of tanks that Flash has. Oh, it gets through a lot of them, though, keeping most of his zealots alive and dropping the zealots on top of the tanks. That was some nice zealot bombs from Bisu. He got a lot more damage done there than I thought he would get done. Just looking at the tank line from Flash, it's a mile long vertically, so that was impossible to break, but Bisu grinded down Flash's army pretty heavily. And that's going to help Bisu a lot. It's going to keep back the huge push for the time being and allow Bisu to pump some more reinforcements to protect himself. But he's got to find a better way to protect his probes, obviously. He's lost so many probes, he can't really afford to lose any more. So he's going to have to build a lot of cannons around each of his bases now to keep away that vulture harassment. Because Flash, he took a lot of critical hits there. He took a lot of tank hits. Tanks are dead all over the place, but he will be able to push again soon with the reinforcement wave of tanks that come out of those factories. So Bisu will have to be prepared for this. He doesn't have the zealots yet, but the zealots will probably show up at just the right time to fight back a big tank push. And one zealot at the front, and Bisu doing a little bit of mine clearing, make it easier to maneuver through the middle and protect his bases. But here comes an Arbiter. I think the Arbiter's going for a recall, but I don't know if the Arbiter's actually going to survive this. The Arbiter being spotted too by the engineering bay that he attacked is pretty much just giving himself away there by attacking that. Flash is going to see that red box and be completely prepared for this. Bisu gets the recall, but it's a very small recall. I don't think he got the amount of troops that he wanted to get in there with that recall, so I don't think his recall would get too much done, because Flash is already pulling in with his siege tanks to protect this base. And yeah, I think he's going to be okay here now that he cleans this up. Yep, cleaning it up pretty easily, so he protects the his main there pretty easily, I'd say. So Bisu wasn't able to get to those important tech buildings or anything, or even take down the supply depots. But now Bisu's pretty large army, still out in the middle of the map. He might go for a frontal attack instead this time, coming in from the right with a frontal attack. This could be very difficult, or he could be going for another recall. He has those Arbiters kind of separated from the rest of the troops, but no, he's coming in. Now he's trying to get the Zealot bombs, but of course the tanks haven't sieged up yet. He's going to wait for them to siege, and then drop on top. That's exactly what he's doing, dropping on top. Nice stasis is from Bisu too. An EMP on one of the Arbiters, so he might not be able to get the second stasis. Yeah, he does get the second stasis, but still a huge line of tanks still left, and Bisu is out of Zealot, so he has to retreat. He does retreat, and the shuttle is actually stasis, so that shuttle is a goner. There's no way that Bisu is going to be able to save that shuttle. Even if he doesn't have anything in it, that's still going to be a big loss, because that shuttle can help a lot with those siege tanks. But okay, Bisu blocked into a corner. He blocks himself down at the 6 o'clock position, and these troops are going to be completely destroyed. I'm surprised he didn't retreat back to his bases, but this is going to be a big loss for Bisu as well, losing these troops. And expect Flash to take his 4th pretty soon, because he just took down all of Bisu's ground troops. And he's going to take out his shuttle here soon. Goodbye, shuttle. Oh, tried to get away, tried his best to get away, but it didn't work. A couple of Arbiters going back. I don't know if they have been EMP'd or not. Going to have to look at the energy. The shield actually gives it away for the Arbiters. That I think they have been EMP'd there. But here comes Flash. He's moving out with a huge tank line, deciding to go for the aggressive attack now. Bisu has a healthy number of bases, but Flash might be attacking at just the right time, but between the time when Bisu would have enough troops out to really protect his base. So I think that Flash might be able to take down at least one base as he moves out this huge grouping of tanks. Bisu got to pick his battles, and I don't think this is the battle that he wants to take, since the vultures are creating a blanket at the front to protect those tanks. He's going to have to pick his battles a little bit better than that, taking a lot of tank shots on those Dragoons as well. And he has a pretty large number of troops still out there, but with this many tanks, you really have to play strategically and go in with the shuttles, especially get those Zealot bombs going. Pretty good Zealot bombs. He has a High Templar. I think I saw a High Templar from Bisu being dropped, but it did not get the storm off. So, yeah, he's finally filling his shuttles with High Templar, but he loses everything. Flash crawling up the map with a huge line of tanks. And this could be it for Bisu because he's got to wait on reinforcements, but the longer he waits, the more he's going to lose in this situation. He's got to group up outside of his natural expansion, basically, and just kind of grit his teeth and take it as Flash takes down a base, which will most likely be this 12 o'clock. Yeah, he's working his way straight to the 12 o'clock. Finds the Dark Templar pretty easily. And he's holding the high ground area. He's going to take that entire little high ground area and take out the natural expansion and the 12 o'clock in one felt swoop. So not good. Flash, in the meantime, has taken his fourth base down at the 6 o'clock position. So he's already keeping up his economy. And Bisu is dwindling. It is not looking good for him at this stage. Man, it would be weird to see Bisu knocked out this early in an MSL, but it looks like that's exactly what's going to happen because he's going to lose his Nexus there, he's going to lose his Nexus at 12 o'clock. He's not going to be able to mine with either of those. So Bisu, in the meantime, is going for a counterattack, but he's going over a huge minefield, and he's got to deal with Flash's reinforcements, so it's probably not the way to go. Yeah, it looks like he might have realized that, because he hasn't gone for the counterattack yet. He's trying to find a good position to attack those tanks. But he needs a lot of shuttles to do this, and High Templar, I think, would help him a lot in this situation too. EMP of an Arbiter. So fewer stasis is going to be cast here as... oh, Bisu. Look at that tank line. Oh, manages to get a stasis on it, though. So he has a chance of melting this, but yeah, look at that. Bisu just lost all of his ground troops yet again. Oh man, reinforcement from Bisu coming out of nowhere, but he has a couple of High Templar as well. This High Templar will be able to help him in this situation, but he's got to get some harassment done too to stop Flash from benefiting from that fourth base. If he can do that and take this engagement at the same time, I think he'll be able to crawl his way back into this game. But other than doing those two things, a nice storm for Bisu actually to take out the tanks. He's taken out most of the tanks. But still dwindling, loses his entire ground army again. Look at that. There's still a lot of tanks left, and that stasis is about to expire. Actually, GG from Bisu. Nicely done by the Terminator. So we have the Donginator and the Terminator moving out of the group of death. This was a great group. Highly enjoyed it. Anyway, this has been Nuke. I will be back soon with another commentary. God knows what I'm going to cast next. I have no idea. Actually, I should pretend that I do to make myself sound more cool. But anyways, see you guys later.